Hi, I'm Dr. Megha Gupta. I am the Chief Instructor and Course Designer for the coding courses offered by Eduinfinite. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about why coding has become very accessible and fun, at the same time being educational for kids. It is definitely a skill that kids should explore from a young age instead of waiting to learn coding when they get to standard 8th or ninth, which is when it's usually introduced in schools. Our courses are currently designed for 8 to 14-year-olds, and absolute beginners are most welcome. I'm going to now give you an overview of all our courses. So right now we have these 6 courses, but we are continuously adding to this list. And for an absolute beginner, we recommend that they start with either animation with code or game design beginners level. And then we have an intermediate level for game design as well as mobile app development. And the advanced level again has 2 courses, which is an intermediate level of mobile app development and an art with Python course. I'll give you more details as we go. So starting with the first course, I'll show you an example of the kind of animations kids make in this course. So let me run that for you.
Hi, I'm Harry. I love outer space and wish I could go there someday. But right now I'm very sleepy. Good night.
Wakey, wakey. Time to go to Mars, my friend.
I was just dreaming about you. Let's go.
All right. So for simple stories like this, this is for absolute beginners, and kids find it a lot of fun to make such animations because their heads are brimming with ideas like this, stories like this. So under the hood, if you see, the coding for this course is done on a platform called Scratch, which is a platform developed by MIT. It's an open source platform, which means it's available for absolutely free. And it's an amazing platform for kids to explore. It's very colorful, as you can see, and it's very versatile as well. Kids find it very easy to get started with this kind of platform. And what we see here, these are instructions. So the code here is written in a block-based format, which means each of these blocks, these are instructions that kids can give to their characters. So block-based coding is a great idea to start with for kids, because then they can focus on problem solving and logical thinking aspect of coding rather than worrying about, oh, I missed a bracket there, a semicolon there, oh, I misspelled that word in my code. And kids are as young as 8 or 9-year-olds, they are also pretty slow at typing. Okay, so they haven't yet developed the typing speed. So they don't have to type code in this as they would have to do in mainstream programming languages like C++ or Java or Python. However, whatever concepts they learn here, they are all the fundamentals that are also applicable in mainstream programming languages. So they are learning about the programming concepts without getting involved in the technicalities and the complexity of syntax. Okay, and in this course, they can select their own characters, they can come up with their own backdrops, they can even paint their own characters if they like drawing. And they can give their own dialogues, give their voiceover. So kids enjoy this a lot. We also introduce a little bit of animated art like this. Okay, so Scratch allows for drawing geometric art like this as well. So we introduce that in our animation course. The next course I'm going to talk about is game design. So I'll again show you a few examples of the kind of games kids make. We have 2 levels in game design. So this is typically the kind of game a student will make in the first level. Okay, I lost that game, but I was controlling the car with my mouse, and so you had to score a certain number of points to win the game. So this kind of game, again, this game design is done on Scratch. And if you look under the hood, again, this kind of code, although, the blocks are easy to connect, the kids have to think about what sequence should I connect the blocks in, and how should I make a particular thing happen in my game. That is what the focus becomes. And that is ultimately the goal of coding. It's not just about knowing how to write code, but also being able to solve problems using code. Okay, so again, this is a slightly more advanced game. It's like the memory game that you might have played. So you have to find matching pairs. Okay, all right. All right, so this is slightly, although it looks simple, logically it's a more complex game. And then this is a much advanced game which students would do in intermediate level of game design. So this is like Hangman. You will have to select a category. Suppose I select animals, and I have to guess this word, the name of an animal. So let me start. Okay, that's one guess gone. Okay. Okay. All right, I think it's a horse. Yeah. Okay, and since I got it right, I'll get another word from the same category to guess. The other course we have is mobile app development, again, which has 2 levels. So I'll show you a few examples of the kind of apps kids make. So this is done on a platform called Thunkable, which is again a block-based coding platform, but much more versatile, and complexity-wise, it is more advanced as compared to Scratch. So this is a painting app. So whenever you're designing an app, you need to think of 2 aspects. One is the user interface, what the user sees on the screen and what they interact with. That is a field in itself, user interface, UI, UX design, you might have heard the term. And then there is the coding part, that which decides what happens when the user does something. What happens when the user clicks on a button or swipes on the screen or enters something in a text box. So all that has to be taken care of through code. And this is again a blocks. These blocks are different from that of Scratch. However, the fundamentals of programming are all shared across these platforms. So if you can see my phone, this is right now directly talking with the app. And if I draw something, yeah, and I can change the brush thickness. Yeah. And I can choose a different color. All right, and I have the option to erase. And clear the screen. Okay, so these are some features that I thought would be useful in a painting app, but students might come up with their own ideas, and we are perfectly okay with working on their ideas with them. Since these classes are in a one-on-one format, we allow that flexibility, and we in fact encourage students to come up with their own ideas, as long as what they have to implement is within the scope of the course. The concepts that are required to build it are not too advanced for that level. Then we are happy to build with them what they thought of. Okay, and again, going back to another app. So I've made a quiz on monuments, but students are welcome to make a quiz on whatever topic they choose. So I select an answer, tells me whether I got it right or wrong, and I go to the next question. and so on. All right, and to show you the e-commerce app. So this is a fairly advanced app, and it will be, if we do this, it will be done in the intermediate level. But things like this are possible on this platform. And these are fully functional apps, which means that students can even put them on Play Store and App Store after making them, so that the whole world can use them. Okay, so now I can show you, like if I go to an item, it shows me a description, gives me an option to add it to cart, and takes me back to the screen with the cart showing me the number of items I have. So again, the design, the interface design is up to the students. They can choose to have a different look for their app if they want. Okay, and finally coming to our Art with Python course. So far we had, all our courses that I talked about were using a blog-based platform, but the Art with Python is, a Python course. Python is a very popular mainstream programming language, a text-based language. So I can show you what it looks like. So the code here, this is the code in Python. This is what the code starts looking like when you go to a text-based programming language. In this course, kids learn how to create very nice geometric art using Python, using commands in Python. And all the concepts that they might have learned in block-based coding are applicable here. It's just written in a slightly different way. Okay, so that work doesn't go waste at all. They already know how to apply those concepts. They just have to learn a new way of writing the same thing in a new language. Okay, and so starting with relatively simple geometric art like this, we move on to more complex art pieces like this. And if the student is going quite fast, then we even do some drawing-based coding games like tic-tac-toe, which seems very simple, which is a very simple game to play, but coding-wise, logic-wise, it's quite advanced. So this is how, two players can play. And suppose I'll just make a stupid move maybe. So it tells me, okay, player 2 has won. All right, so a lot can be done. And the idea of art with Python is not just, learning about how to make art. The whole concept of programming is beautiful in a way that whatever concepts you learn, they are applicable in a variety of domains. Okay, so it can be artificial intelligence, it can be creating art, it could be designing websites, it could be designing apps, as we saw, it could be for robotics. So there's so much you can do with the same programming concepts. So it's important to lay a strong foundation of fundamentals. Our idea is to keep the application interesting enough, fun enough for kids so that they stay motivated. So when they create animations, games, apps, and these kind of art, they really enjoy, they really like what they have made, and it gives them self-confidence and a sense of ownership. So that keeps them going longer. Coming back to this picture, so we have 2 courses at each level. And where does a student start depends on their prior coding experience as well as their age. So we can discuss individually and we can figure out which courses are the best ones to start with for a particular student. And again, these courses are one-on-one, so there's a lot of flexibility. The scheduling is based on the mutual convenience of the student and the facilitator. The pace is set by the student. If the student needs to go slow, we go slow with them. If they are doing very well and they can cover more than what we typically cover in a course, we are happy to do that as well. So yeah, so that's all that I had to share. And if you have any questions, just feel free to contact us. Thanks.